Hello, once again. I'm Kevin Turner from Real Estate Talk. Yeah, one of the most common questions I'm asked is it possible to create massive equity in property when I'm on such a low income? Well, my guest on this interview is certainly someone we're going to talk to about that, and he is also the subject of an interview in the latest edition of Australian Property Investor magazine about how you can do exactly that. And I welcome to the screen Andrew Gleave. G'day, Andrew. Thanks for your time.
G'day, Karen. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Now, your interest in property, I understand, was sparked because of a little bit of work experience, was it?
My wife actually did some work at a real estate company, and at the time I was working for a computer company. So he had some issues with his internal network, called upon me to come around and have a bit of a look-see, and I set up all of his computers, printers, and effectively got his real estate agency up and running at a level that he could use it as such. So I guess that started everything. Yes,
Sparked your interest in it, but you just
it did.
didn't.
Yes.
You just didn't jump in with one property. I understand you jumped in and bought two.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing like going into the deep end. Well, it seemed like the right thing to do at the time, and certainly has done very well. I looked at all the numbers and just sort of thought, well, it works for me now. I'll get two, and wow, I can't believe I haven't thought about this before, really.
So, did you continue to grow your portfolio from that point? Were there any stumbling points for you along the way?
Yes, definitely continued to grow. In fact, probably only a couple of years after that, we literally settled three properties all in the same week. So that was back in 2003. The stumbling blocks, I guess, mainly lack of knowledge. Back in sort of the 2001, 2003, 2004, it was back before all the renovation shows were on TV, back before investing was really widely known. Certainly there was no, that I was aware of at the time, real people to talk to. There were the forums, they didn't exist. Or if they did, I certainly weren't aware of them at the time. And so I was really by myself, just trying to think, well, how can I make this work for me? And if the numbers stacked up, I went ahead and purchased. So that and finance, I think, was probably the big one.
Now, your strategy is essentially buy and hold. Is that
Yes.
right? Has that been a deliberate strategy, or just something that, I mean, did you learn to do that?
It's just something I felt right at the time. You derive an income from that. As if the rent comes in, he's paying all the bills, and you're putting cash in your pocket, why would you want to sell that? So, yes, just by default, buy and hold seemed to be the right thing to do, absolutely.
And what advice would you have for someone wanting to start out to start their portfolio now?
I would say go out, do research, not to the point where it's ridiculous. Read some books, read some magazines, but get your budget sorted. I don't think it's so much what you earn. To me, the key is how do you spend the money that you do earn? Because I never seem to be on a good wicket in terms of pay as such. But if you budget carefully while still having a bit of fun in life, you can save enough to get a deposit, and don't buy a ridiculously priced property to start with. Set your entry, get into the market. From there, compound interest plays its game, and time also does the thing.
Is there one skill that you could say, Andrew, that you've really worked very hard on developing to become a successful property entrepreneur?
I guess for me, the numbers came fairly easily. So I'd set out my spreadsheets. I'd make sure I was on top of the property managers, making sure the rents were being paid. I'd fine tune the expenses. I'd get small renovations done if need be, i.e. if you're having tap issues or plumbers and electricians, then replace the whole lot, so that you know you're not going to have any issues for the next few years. Little things like that, but keep on top of all the finances. And yeah, that seemed to work very well for me.
So in other words, really what you're saying is you've got to treat this like a business, not like a hobby. You've got to take it seriously.
Absolutely, it is a business. The customer is your tenant. You need to look after them, make sure you're providing a decent service to them, so they're going to want to buy from your business, which in real estate is the occupancy of your rental property.
So what are the plans for you and Jerry from here, Andrew? What's the next step for you guys?
Well, look, we've got 9 now. We've done a subdivision and that worked out really well. I'd like to actually do another subdivision. So buying a decent sized home on a big block, do a subdivision, then put a couple of 3-bedders or 4-bedders on that. Done it once, worked out really well, enjoyed myself, learnt a lot, and I'd love to do that again. But at this stage, that and just buying probably another couple of properties. And then I think I'm probably just about done by then.
Well done. Goal achieved. Andrew, thank you very much for spending some time with us and sharing with us your experiences. And you can read all about Andrew's experiences in that story in the latest edition of Australian Property Investor magazine. Andrew, once again, thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Thanks for your time.